Hello and welcome. Tonight, in spite of a pledge by richer countries to raise funds to poorer countries by as much as $300 billion to fight climate change, the deal comes under criticism as the United Nations Climate Conference ends in Baku, Azerbaijan. At least 13 persons are dead after a fresh attack by suspected herdsmen in Azege in Logo, local government area of Benue State. Dangote Refinery announces a reduction in its price of premium motor spirit to 970 naira per litre for oil marketers. And it's a night of tributes for the founders of Channels Television's John and Shola Momo as ARCO group of companies celebrate the couple's legacy of excellence. The United Nations climate talks have drawn to a close in Baku, Azerbaijan, following 2 weeks of intensive negotiations. Whose primary focus was establishing a new finance goal, while the final outcome shows richer countries promising to raise their funding to help poorer countries fight climate change to a record $300 billion this year, which of course represent 30% of the resources demanded by developing nations. The deal has a larger overall target of $1.3 trillion per year, but most will come from private sources. Our environment correspondent Ayola Kasim, who covered the entire proceedings from Baku, now brings us the closing session.
I invite parties to turn to Agenda 14, conclusion of the session.
After an exhausting 2 weeks of negotiations, fraught with geopolitical divide, and 2 days after the conference was scheduled to end, witnessing 3 closing plenaries, COP29 President finally got an agreement in the early hours of Sunday, the 24th of November.
I hereby invite the CMA to adopt the draft decision contained in document CMA/2024 L.22.
After the applause came the harsh criticism of the process. India questioned the presidency's
Your
intentions.
Excellency, trust is the basis for all action, and this incident is indicative of a lack of trust, a lack of collaboration on an issue which is a global challenge which is faced by all of us and most of all by the developing countries that are not responsible for it. But we've seen what you have done. However, would want to say that gaveling and trying to ignore parties from speaking does not behove the UNFCCC system, and we would want you to hear us and also hear our objections to this adoption. We absolutely object to this unfair means followed for adoption.
The most anticipated new collective quantified goal only offers $300 billion per year by 2035 to tackle the climate crisis. It's nowhere near the $1.3 trillion that is needed, and it is not debt-free. Many say it is way too little, way too late. The African Group Chair says it is acrimoniously done. For Nigeria, it is simply an insult to the UN Climate Convention.
And I'm saying that we do not accept this. You expect us to have ambitious NDCs. The NCQG was supposed to enable us to have realistic finance goals. $300 billion is unrealistic.
But the COP29 president believes the Baku finance goal represents the best possible deal that could be reached. The representative of the EU and its member states pointed out to the delegates that this is a challenging geopolitical period, and sealing a deal truly is exceptional.
We're tripling the $100 billion goal, and we feel it is ambitious, it is needed, it is realistic, and it is achievable. And we are confident that this will be a tale of delivery.
While the deal has drawn condemnation around the world, the UN Secretary General said he had hoped for a more ambitious outcome, but this agreement provides a base on which to build. The Executive Secretary of the Climate Convention says it is an insurance policy for humanity.
But like any insurance policy, it only works if premiums are paid in full and on time. Promises must be kept to protect billions of lives.
Following what happened here, it is now clear that a lot more needs to be done in Brazil next year to restore hope in the COP process. From Olympic Stadium in Baku, Azerbaijan, the venue of COP29, Ayola Kasim, Channels Television News.
And back in Nigeria, into security matters, where suspected herdsmen have killed 13 persons in a Zege settlement, the local government area of Benue State. The attack was said to have occurred in the early hours of today, leading to deaths, arson, and the destruction of farmlands and crops. The chairman of Logo local government area, Clemens Cav, who confirmed the persistent attacks by armed men in that community during a phone interview, said the incident has been reported to the police.
Around 1-2 thereafter, the foreign herdsmen came right away in local government, Tomo Council Ward, killed almost 15 persons. I reported the matter to police. I even took the matter to advisor on security matter to the governor. And right now I'm in Makodi. So the affected people are yet to be transferred to teaching hospital. That land does not belong to herdsmen. That is a place where we have been staying for years. I don't know how they came about to claiming the ownership of that land. And I cannot just allow my people to live. We lodged official complaint before the governor of Benue State. The governor of Benue State took the matter to the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So my people are still claiming the ownership of that land.
Dangote Petroleum Refinery has announced a reduction in its price of premium motor spirit, also known as petrol, to 970 naira per litre for oil marketers. A statement issued by the Group Chief Brand and Communications Officer Anthony Chiejine says the decision of the refinery is a way of appreciating Nigerians for their unwavering support in making the refinery a dream come true. According to the statement, the move is to cut from the refinery's 990 naira ex-depot price announced earlier this month. Mr. Chiejine also adds that while the refinery will not compromise on the quality of its petroleum products, it is assuring Nigerians of the best quality of products that are environmentally friendly and sustainable. In just a few months, it will be 30 years since Channels Television hit the airwaves and changed television broadcasting in the country forever. As the countdown to that landmark begins, the brains behind the station, Dr. John and Dr. Sholamomo, are already being celebrated for their contribution to the broadcast industry in Nigeria and the African continent. The founders of Arco Group PLC, Mr. and Mrs. Alfred and Julie Okoigo, also hosted a dinner to celebrate the legacy of excellence for the Momos in Lagos for their exceptional dedication, their outstanding achievements over the past 3 decades. The event was attended by guests from all walks of life, with accolades pouring in on the role of Dr. John and Dr. Sholamomo in transforming the broadcast industry. Our correspondent Chris Illems reports.
As the evening light takes center stage, a special set of friends, industry professionals, colleagues, and family members arrive at the Sky Lounge of Eco Hotel for a remarkable event. Each step into the venue, every handshake and laughter pay tribute to the profound impact Dr. John and Dr. Mrs. Sholamomo, Chairman and Vice Chairman of Channels Media Group, have had on the media landscape, and for their dedication to building the Channels TV brand. The event is at the instance of Alfred and Julie Okoigun of Arco Group PLC.
you, Heavenly Father.
And with the opening prayer and the national anthem done, the chairman of the day, Dr. Biodun Shobanjo, takes to the podium and rails out 1,001 reasons the celebrants deserved every accolade of the day.
If in this country 20 million adults would tune into your station to find out what's happening in this country and in the world, if those 20 million people have come to the conclusion that on no occasion have you had to retract your story, if 20 million people would keep selling your station, talking about your station, and I'm talking of those who are here, you deserve to be celebrated. You are a pride to those of us who are your friends. You are a pride to Nigeria. You are a pride to Africa.
Buoyed by the presence of his friends, partners, and support team, including Old Boys Association of Government College, Ughelli, Mr. Alfred Okoigun speaks on the reason he took up the initiative to celebrate John and Shola Momoh.
It is truly a privilege to be here today as we celebrate the incredible achievement of two outstanding Nigerians, John and Shola Momoh. Their legacy in Nigerian media is a testament to excellence and resilience. Over these 3 decades, their dedication to professionalism and quality has earned Channels Television numerous accolades, including Best TV Station of the Year.
Their story is a masterclass in dedication and resilience, and the goodwill messages say it all.
Ladies and gentlemen, this couple, the power couple, they are a sign that Nigeria can do it if we commit ourselves, pay a premium on meritocracy as opposed to mediocrity.
Last night, I came from the US through the UK, and I was amazed the number of people in the diaspora who told me categorically that they follow Channels TV almost 24/7. Interestingly, some of those guys follow Channels TV more than some of us who are here in Nigeria. Because we are here, we take it that we're in the middle of the news.
It is nice for people who have done very well to be appreciated. It's a very well-deserved honor today. And I'd like to thank Julie and Fred for honoring Shola and John today. And it will encourage others to work hard and be appreciated. Congratulations.
The event comes to a climax with a presentation of an award to the honorees.
This plaque is honoring Mr. and Mrs. John Momoh for a legacy of leadership and excellence on this day, 21st of November, 2024. And on behalf of ACO Group, I present this plaque to
A visibly elated John Momoh expresses appreciation for the honor done to him and the Channels TV family.
To our dear friends, Alfred and Julie, your kindness and thoughtfulness in organizing this dinner mean more to us than words can ever convey. Now, a word about Channels TV. The latest comprehensive survey conducted by the Reuters Institute for the Study of Journalism highlights Channels Television exceptional reach and influence across various media platforms in Nigeria and around the world. Channels TV leads in Nigeria with a 48% weekly reach on television, positioning us as the top offline news brand in the country. Our website and social media channels
also commands significant traffic, further expanding our audience engagement with our viewers. Channels Today has more than 20 million followers across all social media platforms. Channels TV is also recognized as the most trusted news organization in Nigeria, reinforcing our commitment to providing reliable news and information. And the Financial Times of London describes us as a network built on trust.
The celebrants in return show gratitude with a presentation of a bouquet. Then a short confession from the father of the day.
Your grand uncle would want to make a confession. I have a weakness, a nagging weakness. Every evening by 7 p.m., I want to watch channel Politics Today. And by 10 p.m., I want to watch channel news. This is the handiwork of these two persons here, John and Shola Momo. I think we should deal with them. Thank you.
Let us do the channels hacker. Who? Who? And who are we? Channels who?
Channels Television, founded in 1995 with just 15 employees by the esteemed media duo of Dr. John and Dr. Mrs. Shola Momo, now boasts nearly 500 staff members from around the globe. And it continues to uphold its mantra of ensuring all sides of every story are covered. Chris Elems, Channels Television News.
I would say congratulations to Dr. John and Dr. Shola Momo. In part two, after the break, the Edo State Governor, Godwin Obaseki's administration will be probed. The former governor will be probed by the governor of Edo State, now Senator Monday Okpeholo, who has approved the Constitution Committee to probe the Godwin Obaseki administration. Please join us again. Welcome back. If you just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 live on Channels Television. A reminder of our main stories. In spite of the pledge by poorer countries to raise funding to countries as much as $300 billion to fight climate change, the deal comes under criticism as the United Nations Climate Conference ends in Baku, Azerbaijan. At least 13 persons are dead after a fresh attack by suspected herdsmen in Azage in local government area of Benue State. Dangote Refinery announces a reduction in its price of premium motor spirits to 970 naira per litre for oil marketers. And it's a night of tribute for the founders of Channels Television, Dr. John and Dr. Shola Momo, as Aka Group of companies celebrate the couple's legacy of excellence. Turn our attention to politics now in Edo State, where the governor, Senator Monday Okpeholo, has approved the constitution of a 14-man state asset verification committee to probe the administration of the former governor, Godwin Obaseki. Godwin Okpeholo will inaugurate the committee on Tuesday, that's November the 26th, 2024, at the Government House in Benin City. A statement issued by the Chief Press Secretary to the Edo State Governor, Fred Itwa, says despite repeated repeated calls for the more holistic database of the assets and the liabilities of the previous administration. The Godwin Obaseki-led government came up with very scanty and limited assets and liabilities of the state. The committee, which is chaired by Dr. Ernest Afolabi, the chairman, with Anselm Ojezwa as the deputy chairman, also has Prince Kasim Afebwa, Honorable Patrick Ikariele, and Patrick Obiahagbo as members. And in Rivers State, the prolonged dispute between four communities in Kula Kingdom, the Shell Petroleum Development Company, over OML 25, which is a key oil flow station, may soon be resolved. After years of unending delays and the stalled agreement, stakeholders have now met for the first time since 2019 to finalize reopening plans for the oil drilling facility, which has been shut down since 2017. Our correspondent Deborah Agbalama now reports.
The OML flow station, located in Kola Kingdom in Rivers State, is estimated to have a daily production capacity of 45,000 barrels per day. In 2017, youths and women from Ofoyama, Ngeje, Belema, and Kola stormed the facility, shutting it down over alleged neglect and lack of employment opportunities, claiming that after over 50 years of oil drilling, the communities remained underdeveloped without basic amenities. Following their action, the federal government intervened in 2019 to broker peace. This effort led to an 8-point agreement that included allocating 7% shares to an indigenous firm, Belema Oil, and ensuring employment of youths from the host communities, amongst other requests. But in spite of the truce reached, the reopening never materialized as SPDC cited security concerns. This critical closed-door meeting in Port Harcourt marks the first engagement between stakeholders since the 2019 agreement. Present here are representatives from Belema, Ofoyama, Ngeje, and Kola communities, as well as representatives of SPDC and NPCL, regulatory bodies, and Rivers State officials. Agenda of meeting is to finalize reopening plans of OML 25.
We are not demanding too much. All our demands are genuine, and they did not say they will not do it. Since they said they will do it, the first test is for them to go to Belema and sign those documents with Belema, and Belema Oil give us those documents that they have signed them, then we have no problem.
These community leaders, through the paramount ruler of Saraibi dynasty, also raised some concerns over the planned divestment by SPDC.
Over 60 years, Shell cannot point to what they have done for the entire kingdom. Nothing. They have sold part of the asset, and they still want to retain this asset. And we know they want to divest also. No remediation, nothing.
Efforts to get the views from SPDC's representatives and government officials on the reopening timeline were unsuccessful as they declined interviews. However, a participant at the meeting representing the youths is worried over the non-inclusion of remediation of Kola Kingdom in the 8-point agreement.
The meeting that they called here was directed by the regulators to hold that meeting in Belema community. The Shell aborted that meeting, and now they are inviting us to Port Harcourt to hold the meeting. We said no, we will raise objection. The meeting should hold in Olumo 25 community, where all the regulators will sit for themselves.
The reopening of OML 25 with its 45,000 barrels per day capacity could significantly boost Nigeria's oil production, currently at 1.8 million barrels per day. Host communities hope this meeting marks the end of a 7-year standoff and the start of a mutually beneficial relationship. Deborah Abalama, Channels Television News.
Earlier this week, the National Bureau of Statistics, the NBS, released its official report on Nigeria's domestic and external debt status as at the end of June 2024. Well, from this report, Nigeria's public debt stock, which includes external and domestic debt, stood at 134.30 trillion naira, and that's for the second quarter of this year. This is a growth of 10.38 trillion percent from quarter 1 2024. Well, tonight, Babajide Ogunsanwo, founder of Leadership by Data and Channels Television's data analyst, is here to share more insight and give us an interpretation to what these numbers really mean. Hello, Babajide, and thank you for joining us again on the news at 10.
Good evening, Nana.
And now, what does this report from the NBS show? And when we take a look at it, are these numbers different from those of the Debt Management Office? That's the DMO.
So first, this numbers and this report is perfectly in sync with the reports that had been issued by the Debt Management Office. We see clear similarities. However, there are three things I would like to quickly emphasize. The first is Nigeria's total debt now stands at the equivalent of $91 billion. However, I would like you to quickly listen to this. Yes, our total debt is $91 billion. However, the total liabilities of Coca-Cola Group, $95 billion. Nigeria's total debt, $91 billion. Total debt of Tesla, in excess of $100 billion. Nigeria's debt, $91 billion. Total debt of Microsoft, in excess of $200 billion. The point I'm making is, to some, Nigeria is a big country, but to others, Nigeria is really a small company. Yes, you heard me right. To some, Nigeria is a large country. To others, based on the situation, Nigeria is a small company. And the second is, we're in a peculiar situation. The situation we find ourselves today, the value of debts is increasing, yet the size of the economy is reducing because of the devaluation. So we are in a very peculiar situation where we see a lot of debt values rising, yet the size of the economy is reducing. Perhaps the third and most important point I want to make is, Anne, it's exactly 6.5 decades past the century. On this day, the popular Origin of Species by Charles Darwin was published. That was in 1859, The Origin of Species. Tonight, I'd like to talk about the origin of Nigeria's debt position based on external and domestic situation. So let's look at external borrowing, the origins from President Jonathan, President Buhari, and President Tinubu, first 1 year. June 2011 to June 2012 under President Jonathan, external debt went from $3 billion to $6 billion, a growth of $3 billion in the first year. Under President Buhari, external debt in his first year went from $7 billion to $11 billion, an increase in external debt value of $4 billion. The good news, even though we'll talk about the bad news later, the good news right now is under President Tinubu, we see a stability in external debt. We haven't seen a growth in the value of external debt. When he came in, it was $39 billion. This report shows that as at the end of the second quarter of this year, it is now $38 billion. So that's some of the good news.
But despite the government borrowing more money from external sources, we've also seen that the reported value of external debt has not in any way declined when you compare it to last year. So how do you explain this?
And so, yes, the government is borrowing money. So let's take a look at the facts. Yes, so total external debt, the government has been borrowing money externally, but here's how you want to look at it. It depends on how you look at it. If you look at the total, as of June 2023, it was $38.8 billion. Now it is $38 billion. However, if you look at the first two columns, multilateral and bilateral debt, we see a growth in those two values. So that's in 2023, multilateral debt was $16.9 billion. That increased to $17 billion. Bilateral debt as well increased the value from $5 billion to $5.4 billion. However, what has made the total external debt reduce are three reasons: commercial debt, promissory notes, and syndicate loans. So those are the reasons why, despite multilateral and bilateral debt growing, the reason why total external debt has declined in the last 1 year is because of the decline in the value of commercial debt, promissory notes, and syndicate loans. So that is the trick.
Beyond external debts, what is the status of the domestic debt of the federal government as we speak?
Now that's where there's bad news. And I'd like us to take a look at domestic debt. Yes, we've looked at external debt, and we've seen that hasn't really changed under the president in the first 1 year. However, if you look at domestic debt, there's a lot of reasons to be worried. First 1 year of President Jonathan, domestic debt went from 5.2 trillion naira to 6.1 trillion naira, an increase in the value of domestic debt under President Jonathan, 900 billion naira. Under President Buhari, increase in the value of domestic debt, 8.4 trillion to 10.6 trillion naira, an increase of 2.2 trillion naira. The challenge we have, Anne, is under President Buhari, under President Tinubu, domestic debt has gone from 48.3 trillion naira to 66.9 trillion naira, an increase in the value of domestic debt of 18.6 trillion naira. What does 18.6 trillion naira mean in the last 1 year? In simple terms, in the last 1 year, the value of our domestic debt has been growing at an average of about 50 billion naira per day. That is what it means. But here's why a lot of people are worried. In the first half of the year, revenue from the federal government, 3.8 trillion naira. However, money spent on debt service, 6.7 trillion naira. You know, in the final analysis, my grandfather once told me, Jide, I know you want to...
That's an interesting part.
My grandfather once told me that he who lives on borrowed money lives on borrowed time.
Okay.
Perhaps Nigeria may be living on borrowed money.
All right. That's a good place to end it. Thank you very much, Babajide Ogunson, founder of Leadership by Data, and of course, Channel Television's data analyst. As always, thanks for your time.
The pleasure is all mine.
Still ahead on the news at 10, Saudi Arabia hosts the first ever conference of conjoined twins to celebrate the successful separation of conjoined twins over the years. Please join us again. Welcome back. In the drive to ensure food security and economic growth, the Oyo State Governor, Seyi Makinde, has performed the groundbreaking for the upgrade of moribund 3,250 hectares of Erua farm settlement to an agribusiness industrial hub. The governor said that the project, once completed, will put Ibarapa land on the global agricultural map and create thousands of jobs for youth in the zone and across the state. Governor Makinde, who stated this at the Old Farm Settlement in Erua, Oyo State, added that his administration will also complete the Ido-Erua Road within the next 1 year. Our correspondent, Bukola Oriowo, has this report.
A dream to transform Oyo State to the food basket of the Southwest region, and by extension the country, appears to be coming to reality. The state government started with the Fashola Agribusiness Hub in Oyo Town, a hub that has seen an influx of at least 12 medium to large national and international private companies occupying the 1,150 hectares of land for crop production, livestock rearing, and processing for domestic consumption and export. The state is taking another step with a new project 3 times the size of Fashola, the Erua Agribusiness Hub.
Fashola is about 1,000 hectares of land. Erua is 3 times Fashola. We know that we have the capacity to take on this project and to see it to completion.
Governor Makinde expresses optimism that the new agribusiness hub in Erua would also be a success story like the Fashola Agribusiness Hub, as development partners and investors who have already committed to bringing in their money to the facility were present at the groundbreaking ceremony.
This facility will include a crop and livestock production center, 15 to 20 processing centers, a state-of-the-art agribusiness training center, a mechanization and equipment leasing center, an early generation seed production center, and the icing on the cake will be the Eco Resort Center that will put Erua on the map of the world.
The people of Ibarapa land, as well as development partners, assure the state government of their support towards the project.
So we strongly believe at the African Development Bank that the future for economic transformation of rural Africa lies in agriculture, in treating agriculture as a business. And this is what the Erua Agribusiness Industrial Hub, like many others, of course, in this country that we are also supporting, is seeking to create.
I would like to call for close monitoring of this project, and also I will personally give myself to oversee the project's progress and foster open communication within the contractors and stakeholders and the community to ensure smooth execution and address potential delays.
The Erua Agribusiness Hub is expected to position Oyo State as a major producer of food crops and a global player through the export of such commodities. Bukola Oriowo, Channels Television News.
As part of plans to ensure that Imo State retains its position as a tourism destination and hospitality hub of the Southeast, the Imo State government has now commenced a total rehabilitation of the state-owned Concord Hotel, which has been in the dilapidated state for many years now. Speaking at the signing of his memorandum of understanding with Hilton Hotels at the government house in Owerri, the state capital, the governor, Hope Uzodinma, says the resuscitation of the Concord Hotel will be managed by the Hilton Hotel under a public-private partnership with an increase in internally generated revenue of Imo State. Our correspondent Itope Kutei reports.
In 1983 by the former governor of Imo State, late Sam Mbakwe, the Imo Concord Hotel stood as a symbol of Imo State's hospitality industry at the time. Over the years, however, due to poor management by successive administrations, the hotel has been left to rot. During an inspection tour to check the level of work done on the ongoing renovation, the Imo State Governor, Hope Uzodinma, who is accompanied by a team from Hilton Hotels, discloses that his administration is embarking on the rehabilitation of the hotel, and when completed, will be handed over to Hilton Hotels as the sole manager.
Quality accommodation has not been able to do that. In Imo State, we have 7 oil companies, oil and gas companies, from Chevron to Ajib to Adas to Seplat to Watersmith. But all these companies are coming from Lagos every day and Port Harcourt because according to their global standards and specifications, there is no hotel of global integrity and class where they will come and take long-term stays and all the rest of the thing. So, and that has also cost us a lot. Not only the resources and the stimulation we have given to our economy.
I would like to thank sincerely His Excellency for hosting me and giving us the opportunity. We are looking forward to partnering with His Excellency and Imo State. I think this hotel will be a fantastic addition, not only to Owerri, Imo State, but also to our growing number of hotels in Nigeria.
Thereafter, the discussion moves to the office of the governor, where pen is put to paper and a memorandum of understanding is signed between Imo State government and Hilton Hotels. The governor is optimistic that the project will boost the state's economy and increase internally generated revenue.
Imo State is the hospitality headquarters. Imo State have potentials for tourism and is capable of hosting even up to 4 to 5 five-star hotels. It will give quality to the lifestyle of our people, create convenience, reduce the operation cost of oil companies operating in Imo State and other industries.
Some excited indigents of the state lauded the state government on this development.
It's a very wonderful, just every life that is passing through here, all this renovation going on is very happy.
With 9 months target for completion, the resuscitation of this iconic hotel is expected to attract visitors and investors, which the state government projects will in turn position the state as a beacon of tourism and hospitality in the Southeast region. Itope Kutei, Channels Television News.
Staying in the hospitality sector, with few weeks to the 1-year anniversary of the Delborough Lagos, the luxury hotel has attributed the landmark success recorded since inception to the quality of selected board members. At the hotel's second board meeting held in Lagos, the highly profiled board members assuring its numerous guests, clients, and everyone that the Delborough Lagos will continue to answer to its slogan, ultimate sophistication in service delivery and redefining hospitality in Africa. In just under 1 year, the Delborough Lagos has achieved huge success in hotel hospitality, offering luxury services and setting the pace in the industry. The luxury hotel is, however, not resting on its oars, as these highly distinguished and respected board members are meeting for a first-year review of the business and lay the ground for the future. After the closed-door meeting, the governing board members, led by His Royal Majesty, the Obi of Onitsha, Nnemeka Achebe, addresses the media.
Had very good discussions. We're very encouraged. First year performance, which is an indication that we have a good business. So our plan is to ride on that, to be the hospitality center for excellence and for first choice in Nigeria, in West Africa, why not the whole world?
We're already going to Uganda, and also lots of requests from other countries like in Ghana, seeking for franchise and all, of course, subject to the approval of the board. So for now, we're in Lagos, but we have one major vision, which is to export hospitality.
Members of the board, Professor Michael Zekome and Dr. Linus Idahosa, explain what has made the hotel stand out.
And the thought, we decided to make Debo not just a primus inter pares, but for best amongst equals. But we have decided to make it a numero uno as number one. You can also put it as a nolus secundus, second to none.
Being able to do that at the same time attract the type of people, presidents, world leaders, global entrepreneurs and business moguls have made this place their first choice of leaving whenever they're in the country. So it goes to tell you that all the things that you see happening here is a product of a set heart towards redefining what hospitality should be.
Since its official commissioning on December the 2nd, 2023, the Delborough Lagos has proudly hosted over 16 serving and former presidents, as well as the historic hosting of Prince Harry and wife Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, earlier this year. Let's turn our attention to the world of sports. Rivers United have placed Remo Stars and displaced them at the top of the Nigerian Premier Football League, and that's after a 1-0 win against Abia Warriors in Port Harcourt, while the Kenya-based team suffered a 2-0 defeat to Katsina United earlier today. The result means that Finley George also led this team move top on 25 points from 13 games, while Remo Stars are now trailing with 2 points on 23. Plateau United, who played their game behind closed doors, beat Nasarawa United 2-0 in Lagos, in Jos. And Ruben Amorim has been giving a stark illustration of the size of his task as Manchester United after its uninspiring team were led and held 1-1 by struggling Ipswich in the first match in charge earlier today. Marcus Rashford turned in Ahmed Diallo's inviting cross, stunning the home crowd for the opener, and it equalized through Omari Hutchinson just before half-time. But earlier, Mohamed Salah fired Liverpool 8 points clear at the top of the English Premier League, as the leaders also survived a scare from lowly Southampton, thanks to Egypt's star second-half double and through away win. Liverpool have now won 10 of their first 12 league matches, with only 2 previous teams in the competition's history failing to lift the title after reaching that mark. Meanwhile, Leicester has also sacked manager Steve Cooper earlier today, with the Foxes just 2 points above the Premier League relegation zone. The 44-year-old has been an unpopular appointment to succeed Enzo Maresca in June due to his past with local rivals Nottingham Forest. He won just 2 of his 12 Premier League games in charge to leave Leicester perilously poised above the drop zone. The final straw came as Chelsea won 2-1 in Maresca's return to the King Power on Saturday. Italy are Davis Cup champions again. World number 1 Yannick Sinner and Matteo Berrettini both won their own single matches as Italy defended their title with victory against the Netherlands 2-0. The win means that Italy are now Davis Cup and Belgian King Cup champions for this year 2024. Away from sports outside our shores, the first ever conjoined twins conference is holding in Saudi Arabia as the kingdom reassures the world it has the doctors and personnel to ensure 100% success in separation rate. The conference is being organized by King Salman Humanitarian Aid and Relief Center. Our correspondent Amarachi Ubani reports.
For the first time ever, there is a gathering of separated conjoined twins in one location. And it's all thanks to the Saudi government, which embarked on this journey 30 years ago through the Saudi Conjoined Twins program.
This should be the beginning of continuous collaborations between governments, between United Nations organizations, international NGOs, local and regional NGOs, that they should communicate with leading centers, whether it is like the Saudi National Program for Conjoined Twins, Great Ormond Hospital and others, and create what we are launching today, a website that will bring registry, research, advocacy, communication, and also awareness for families. This is the takeaway that we should agree on, and we should not forget the well-being and the rights and the ethics of conjoined twins.
Scores of twins from around the world successfully separated in Saudi hospitals free of charge bear testimony to the unreserved goodwill. For instance, these two Nigerian families who testify to the kingdom's intervention.
When they are separated and feel happy and feel joy and feel happiness to the extent I can't describe how I feel. Wallah. But now
maybe you should give her the mic. Hold on. I will give you the mic. Say what you want.
Say halas.
Say what you want.
They are triplet, two conjoined, one separate. So when we came to Saudi Arabia after investigation, they told us the spinal cord is connected. So the first separate the spinal cord for the surgery. So after they separate the spinal cord and separate them, all of them.
Two Nigerian conjoined twins successfully separated here in Saudi Arabia, and they've been here for a while. Many more still on the way. Saudi Arabia is gradually becoming a hub for medical innovation and says its doors are open to conjoined twins for separation from all over the world. At the first international conference on conjoined twins here in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, Amarachi Ubani, Channel Television News.
On a celebratory note now, Zenith Bank has set the ball rolling for an eventful 2024 Yuletide with its annual light-up of the Eco Hotel's roundabout and the Ajose Adeogun corridor of Victoria Island in Lagos. The Group Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the bank, Adora Umeji, who performed the light-up, says that's part of the bank's corporate social responsibility to impact its operational environment and spread happiness this season.
Activities heightened at the Eco Hotel roundabout and Ajose Adeogun corridor, Victoria Island, Lagos, as Zenith Bank gets set to light up the area in line with its annual Christmas tradition. Guests are already arriving, waiting to experience the usually electrifying moment when the beautifully decorated Christmas lights come on. The arrival of the Group Managing Director of the bank signals the beginning of the event. It's no time for long speeches. However, there is room to appreciate the journey so far.
You're welcome to the 2024 Zenith Bank Light Up Ceremony. I'm so happy to be here to see a lot of beautiful faces, looking so joyful and looking so hopeful. We're all here to celebrate the season. We're about to commence the Christmas season, and we decided to come here today because Christmas season signifies joy, love, the period for sharing kindness to the world. Thank you very much as we continue to light up this season.
And behold the transformation, a magical winter wonderland, and the jubilant guests just want to dance. The Zenith Bank Light Up event is more than just a festive celebration. It comes with a message.
And Zenith Bank is a bank that's known for customer service delivery, and we always put our people, our customer, and our technology ahead. So my message for them this season is that this is a season of love, this is a season of kindness. I want them to please share love, share kindness to everyone, the loved ones, as well as the less privileged. They should make everyone around them happy so that they can celebrate this season with them.
For many here, this is a testament to the bank's commitment to giving back to the community, and the excitement is palpable.
I feel very excited, and I come here every year. I'm very excited about it. Actually, my first light up, so I'm very much excited. And also, it's Zenith Bank, so you guys back.
December is a period of having fun, so this is me starting December in a fun way.
I want to enjoy myself. At least it's an escape route from Shaggy, because we are seeing this year. Zenith Bank, keep it up. It's something to keep doing. That's beautiful.
So when next you visit Lagos, Zenith Bank would no doubt be delighted to have you come. Enjoy the magic of the Light Up.
And the main news again. The United Nations Climate Conference has ended in Baku, Azerbaijan, with a promise from richer countries to raise funding to poorer countries as much as $300 billion to fight climate change, as that was not enough to stop the deal from coming under criticism from the developing world. We also brought you a report that at least 13 persons were killed in the early hours of today following a fresh attack by suspected herdsmen in Azege in Lugo local government area of Benue State. Dangote Refinery today announced a reduction in its price of premium motor spirit to 970 naira per litre for oil marketers. And the founders of ACO Group PLC, Mr. and Mrs. Alfred and Julia Koigo, have celebrated the founders of Channels Television, Dr. John and Dr. Shola Momo, for a legacy of excellence in the broadcast industry. So that's the news at 10 tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Anne Mwawadu. Have a wonderful week ahead. Good night.